Make sure you all get your mics ready, please.
Okay, the first thing tonight we have is the Watsika Multi-Jurisdictional Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan. It's a yearly maintenance. And I need to call that meeting to order. And then I'm going to turn it over to Eric, because he's our professional at this.
I don't know about that, but we'll get through it. Thank you, Don. So everybody signed up. We don't have to touch on that anymore. So I want to welcome everybody that's in attendance. This is our yearly maintenance for the City of Watsika Multi-Jurisdictional Natural Hazards Mitigation Plan. It's built into the plan. We need to have yearly meetings, and we invite all of our subcommittee members, which is City of Watsika, Iroquois Memorial Hospital, and Union 9 School District. So then, I sent out an email to everyone for their responses. There's a checklist that they have to fill out. The first one would be the natural hazard related damage to critical facilities. There were none, so there's none to report. Number 5, the mitigation action tables projects completed or in progress. IMH did respond. They continue to educate their employees on water conservation. Is that correct? And then they also deactivated one of their projects, which was a generator for their IRHC building, and that building has been sold, so they deactivated that project. As far as the city projects, we got 2 going. One is the update the building codes to 2021, ICC building codes, and that's been identified for further review, so that's moving along. And then the other one is a HMGP 4461.43. That's an acquisition demolition project for flooded or flood-prone structures. We've been responding to requests for information on that, and that is in progress also. So the next item was number 6, new mitigation actions to be added to the plan. None were identified, so we're not going to be adding any new actions. And then significant changes in development, that would be if the city would annex property or have a major new development, then we should probably report that, and we have none to report. Plan effectiveness, there's no dispute the plan is effective. No reason to even talk about that further. And then finally, review the plan goals. And I'll just read through them real quick just to refresh everyone. Goal 1 is educate people about the natural hazards they face and the ways they can protect themselves, their homes, and their businesses from these hazards. Goal number 2, protect the lives, health, and safety of the people and animals in the city from the dangers of natural hazards. Goal number 3, protect existing infrastructure and design new infrastructure, buildings, roads, bridges, utilities, water supplies, sanitary sewer systems, etc., to be resilient to the impacts of natural hazards. Goal number 4, incorporate natural hazard mitigation into existing as well as new community plans and regulations. Goal number 5, place a priority on protecting public services, including critical facilities, utilities, roads, and schools. Goal number 6, preserve and protect the rivers, creeks, and floodplains in our city without impacting those downstream. Goal number 7, ensure that new developments do not create new exposures to damage from natural hazards. And goal number 8, protect historic, cultural, and natural resources from the effects of natural hazards. So that's our mitigation goals. If anybody needs any input, do we need to change those at all? I think they're fine for now. Is there any other? And with that, we're good. We're done.
That meeting. So the next one will be public safety.
Thanks, Lori.
Thanks, Lori.
Or is Vinny doing that one, or
I am.
you am? Okay.
Okay, it's 6:33. Call to order the public safety meeting for September 10th, 2024. Roll call, please, Kathy.
Berry,
Here.
Mensch,
Here.
Cahill.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Delar.
Here.
Mercier.
Here.
Rolfs. Anderson.
Here.
Mayor. 7 present, 2 absent.
Okay, any public comment? Not hearing any, so we will move on to the auxiliary department report. Eric, take it away.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What I have here, last month we did have the Family Fest. Went very, very well. I understand that the KOs were very pleased with the results. We were pleased as well. And we did prepare also for the event of the Big Boy Train, which arrived yesterday. That is for next month's agenda, but I will say that was fantastic. I hope everybody got to see that. I know you were there, but definitely was it was really cool. We're also preparing for the Harvest Days coming up in October. We had no emergency call-outs over the month, so that's good. So that means that the city's pretty well in order. And we did do our bi-weekly checking the generator, looking at the boats, basic maintenance. And we did hold our monthly meeting, had these discussions, and we also did decide on a promotion from officer to sergeant, which has been in review for the last 2 months. And what I am looking for is if I can get a motion to allow the promotion from officer to sergeant, if somebody could celebrate and call a motion on that.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. We're presenting
Roll call.
Officer Ashley Sebring to sergeant.
No, we need a roll call, just a minute.
Hold on.
Just
Bear-
1 moment, we're sorry.
Baragry.
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Marcier.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Delar.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. That I was out of turn. I have nothing else to bring up. But, congratulations, Ms. Sebring.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right. Okay, on to the fire department report and Chief Byer.
Good evening, council. For the month of August, we had a total of 64 calls of service. We went to 3 fires. We had 12 first responder calls, 28 EMS calls, 8 motor vehicle accidents we responded to, 5 automatic alarms, and then we had 8 other, which is a variety, CO, gas leak, lines down, just a general. Training for August. We did brush truck operations, rapid intervention team training. We did that at the training cans under smoke and fire conditions. We set up the Mavis tent, and we also did mutual aid training. It was a water shuttle drafting scenario. We did that with Sheldon and Crescent City. Personnel. Jackie Lesage, she finished up a 40-hour rope ops course. So she was gone for 2 weekends on that. Actually, I think she took that in Utica. So, equipment. Station 1, the bay doors have been replaced. They moved pretty quick on that once they started. They look real nice. Definitely made a difference there. Should make a huge difference with the efficiency now of the building, especially in the wintertime. And then the man doors, we're supposed to be getting done supposedly this week. Hopefully, you'll start seeing something done with those. That's going to be more the secured system. One of the reasons why we looked at that is because now we have narcotics within the ambulance station. Now, keep in mind that is in a lockbox itself, but it's just a redundancy, so now we can see who's coming in and out of the building. It also allows us for anybody that's maybe a contractor or somebody that's outside of the city that needs to get in for whatever work needs to be done. We can allow them a code for that specific time, so we can see when they entered the building and when they left the building. So just some security, and they're starting to kind of rust out at the bottom. So that'll be a nice addition. We did finish up annual pump testing and also our hose testing. Miscellaneous, obviously we participated in the Family Fest. And then we had a water gun fight with the PD. I am going to give Officer Josh Douglas, he's the one that spearheaded it. We weren't sure what to expect. It was a great time, had a lot of participants with the kids, and turned out to be good. I hope we get to do that next year.
What my important thing was there a winner?
Yeah, that was could you give me the
It was the
report?
fire side. They won't admit any other way,
Not for
but that's the way it
official record,
happened.
I'm just curious.
I don't know. All it felt like is the PD was on their side a lot, and we were on their side, so I don't know if that matters or not.
Okay.
But it was a good time. Hopefully we can grow off of that. So
Chief, what's your opinion?
We were outgunned because they had a water hose, literally, and we ended up pulling out the best that we had was our ballistic shields, which that didn't work very well with that pressure hose that cracked me in the head. So no, but we'll be prepared.
Be prepared next year. So yeah, it was fun. We didn't know what to expect, and it turned out to be a great time.
Yeah.
Dropping water balloons from drones.
Oh, we've got plans.
Oh, we went through that.
I'll be assisting with that. So revenge.
We did 4 home smoke detector installs this month. Obviously, we do those as homes either get sold or people call us. One other thing I want to bring up is not on the miscellaneous. I apologize. So with the work between all 3 agencies here, between Code, PD, and myself, we helped a resident at 810 Rosewood, severe hoarder conditions. And we had to use legal to help us on this, and we got a court order from the judge to remove the person from the house. Now keep in mind, when we did this, we made sure that this person had a place to go before we got them out of the residence. With that being said, we also worked with the Ford Health Department. They were able to get a hold of ServPro. They had money that was set aside to help get this property fixed up. So the idea is to hopefully get this house back to a living condition, and then we can get that resident back in there. But it took all 3 agencies working together, actually 4, excuse me, to make this happen. So hopefully we'll get her some help. And if we move forward and find more houses like this that we're made aware of, that we have the ability to do something, now we know the direction to go to hopefully make it better. So other than that, I just wanted to bring up real quick, Dakota Schroeder, he's one of our firefighters. You guys, if anybody's on Facebook, maybe has seen, you know, Coda Strong, stuff like that. He's been with us for about 5 years. Very, very dedicated individual. He's a great firefighter. He's a good friend. He's actually he's good all around, very compassionate. He actually had, when he was 15 years old, he had a tumor, and it got removed in his head. Went back to playing ball, everything. He's been fine. Anyways, last week, and it came back, or I should say, they discovered it. He had to go to ICU at Riverside. They discovered what it was, and it had grown back. Not sure what took place, but long story short, had a 7-hour operation. They were able to remove the tumor completely. He is now back home, and he seems to be doing well. So I know he's anxious because he wants to get back with us right away. And I told him, I said, just take your time. But other than that, he's been doing well. We've started some funds for him, and he seems to be getting along good. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up if anybody had seen that. So if there's no other questions, that's all I have, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Chief. Okay, we're gonna move one thing around here. We're gonna go to the police department report. Chief Douglas.
I guess
Take it away.
first of all, before I start, I'd like to see if we can have a moment of silence or a moment of thought for Corporal Schreiber over in Newton County. I'm sure everybody's familiar with what happened there. And if anybody has Facebook, probably seen the update that they gave today. So if we can just have a quick moment of silence. Thank you. And our prayers are with him and his family and the department and all the other first responders that were there that night and first responders that go out there every day and every night to risk their lives. So thank you. Calls for service, 420. I unfortunately was only able to get you guys that printout today. It didn't print out very well, so hopefully you guys can get the gist of it. So the call's still up there in the 400s. I don't know if that's good or bad. Under miscellaneous, railroad detail. I'm sure everybody's seen the pictures and the videos and so forth. So I believe it was a success, and I thank all my guys and all the fire department, public works for going out there and doing everything they did. So I thought it was a good turnout for the city, and I think everybody that was involved with it did a great job. So thank you. Officer Corvu was part of ILEAS, was activated to go to the Democratic National Convention that was held a couple weeks ago up in Chicago. He was up there for, I think, 5 days, got to partake in that. That was an eye-opener for him. So he partook in that. Officer Douglas and Officer Hamlin took a law enforcement officer defense tactic class that was put on down in Champaign through the FBI. From the sounds of it, it was a very physical class. They did a lot of hands-on and so forth, hands-on training and so forth like that. And I know that from speaking with those officers, they came back worn out, bruised, and sore. So hopefully they can use that in their day-to-day patrols. And like I said, kind of reverting back to, we never know what we're going to walk into. So it's good that they're prepared and get all the training they can. So I encourage these officers to keep doing that and getting all the training to protect themselves and protect the public as much as possible. As Chief Byer unfortunately brought up, the police department was part of the Family Festival. We had a tent set up there for Cops for Kids that we were giving little trinkets and little toys out. Myself, Officer Spears, Quincy's wife, Kendra, Officer Juarez was there, so we were there most of the afternoon on Saturday, I believe, with that tent. And then, as he spoke of, Officer Douglas, myself, and probably Officer Juarez was there in uniform. He partook in it, was sopping wet the rest of the afternoon. So, but it was a good turnout. We had a lot of pictures and a lot of kids that showed up that, you know, from looking at the pictures, it seemed like it brought a lot of joy to people. So it was a good thing. I think it was a good PR thing for both departments and for the city itself. So I'll hopefully look forward to it next year to be an honorary member to play with them. So yeah. We were contacted by Carl Gertovitz at WGFA. Carl asked if we would be interested in doing a couple of public service announcements with them. We did. Sergeant Harris and Officer Spears did a couple of public service announcements for school being back in session for school bus safety. So we want to thank them, and took the opportunity there again to do a little education, public education out there. I was going to put him in front, but he's here. But I want to introduce Nick Juarez. I've mentioned him a couple times. So Officer Juarez, otherwise known as Tiny. That's a joke. His nickname is the Hulk. They named him down at the academy until they saw some of his text messages he was sending me, so, which he thought he was sending to his fiance. So nothing bad, just, hi, sweetie, I miss you. So until I brought it to his attention, then they changed his nickname. But anyway. That is true. So I'm going to have Nick kind of introduce himself. He's been on FTO for 2 weeks with Officer Spears on afternoons. He actually started midnights last night with Sergeant Pulio on midnights, so he's going to be doing FTO with Sergeant Pulio for 2 or 3 weeks. And then we plan on concluding, from my understanding, with Sergeant Harris back on days for a week or two. So he's going to have about a 4 to 6 week FTO program. But I asked Nick to show up here tonight to kind of introduce himself to you guys and see what we paid for. So, Nick. So, Nick, if you want to step up to the podium, please.
Right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Nick Juarez. I'm from Kankakee, Illinois, born and raised. Went all the way through Kankakee School District. Was an athlete. My downtime, I was a musician, played guitar a little bit. Out of high school, I worked at a steel distribution center with my father for about 9 years before I went to Iron Workers Local 444 out of Joliet. And in my layoff time, I worked as a security officer at the hospital, Ascension St. Mary's in Kankakee. Law enforcement was one of those things that's just burning in the back of my mind all my life. So I finally got fed up with being laid off, and so I was like, let me just go ahead and start trying to get, back to this dream of mine. So got hired down here at Watseka Police Department. I completed 16 weeks of academy down in Macon County Law Enforcement Training Center in Decatur, which consisted of classroom, a lot of exercise, and scenario-based trainings to get me prepared for the real world. So August 23rd, I completed that, and August 24th, I was in uniform getting soaked by a bunch of kids in at Legion Park. So here I am today, and it's good to be in front of you all.
So we're looking forward to getting Nick trained up, get him out on the street. His fiance is a Kankakee County Sheriff Deputy, so he's familiar to the law enforcement. So, so we're excited to have him down here, and we got great hopes for him and high expectations. So
she's excited I have a big boy job now, in her own words.
So, but
Welcome.
Yeah, great having you aboard.
We appreciate you being
I
here.
would like to talk, and I know the mayor's not here tonight, but I'd like to see at the full city council at the end of the month if we can do a swearing in for him then. That way he can have his family here then too, and do that presentation then. So if we could possibly put that on the agenda for the end of the month, so. And I think that's about it. Under other, since I kind of been put on the spot with a date, so I guess I have to give somewhat of a date. So for those who may not know, and there's rumors and everything else, I am retiring in January. I'll have January 2nd is actually my anniversary date. I'll have 27 years of service here. So I plan on having my final day being either January 13th or January 20th. I haven't decided which date yet, so, but it will be one of those 2 days. I will hopefully be able to give you a definite answer here in the next week or so.
Black and white.
Black and white. So you haven't got my resignation letter, but I will be leaving. I know that there's, and I'm not going to really expand on it, but I did talk to my deputy chief also. And he's planning on retiring on the same date. So you will unfortunately lose both of us. He's got 28 years of experience and I've got 27 years of experience. So a total of 55 years of experience that unfortunately is going to be gone, but I have high hopes and high expectations. I have literally been responsible for every single officer that's on that department. So I have the utmost faith and expectation that when I leave, that it's going to continue to grow and continue the path that I've taken it down, and hopefully continue to even get better. So, so there you go, Nida.
Black and white.
And that's all I got.
Okay, all right. We're going to the Fire and Police Commission report.
No. You got Josh.
Oh.
I am on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Josh, you are on.
I guess I'm on.
Floor's yours now.
Luckily, I got forced to work tonight, or else I wouldn't be. So I wanted to talk about the tuition reimbursement. I brought that up about a month or so ago. I talked to some of you guys about it. You guys had asked for more information, so I put some of that together. That's actually what I was doing over there on my phone. I wasn't just scrolling. You guys had asked about the price. It's about 36 credit hours at Governor State, around 400 per credit hour. So I calculated out about $15,000 for a master's program. As far as majors that I was looking into that I thought would be pertinent to law enforcement, I came up with a definite list. Addiction studies, counseling, criminal justice, psychology, public administration, social work, and psychology. I think all of them are pretty prevalent to our day-to-day interactions with the community. And like I had presented beforehand, we see these problems as they arise. So public administration and addiction studies and social work, instead of them continuing to get worse, hopefully we can stop these problems as we see them on the street.
And you said the amount would be, I didn't quite get that.
So it's a rough calculation. I'm guessing around 15,000 for Governor State. Everywhere else, like just the general Google answer was 60 to 70,000, which is, I get hefty, but Governor State was a lot cheaper.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
So you're mainly adding classes to that would qualify for this, right? That aren't currently part of the program?
So that's what our tuition reimbursement right now is, just for criminal justice. So that's what I was asking to allow for the other majors as well.
So these aren't part of the criminal justice program?
Correct. This is outside of that. Criminal justice is just a major, and it obviously you take a lot of classes underneath criminal justice and a lot of electives, but I'm proposing that we allow for other majors, other areas of study. So I know it was brought up that we aren't having contract negotiations. The contract isn't up for another 2 years. So essentially it would just be an edit to the verbiage in the contract.
And you're looking at increasing that to include a master's degree?
Yes.
Not just the associates and bachelors?
Yes.
Okay.
one of the biggest advantages, because we've talked about this, is if an officer takes advantage of this, they're gonna stick around. They're gonna wanna see this through. So this will give us longevity. Somebody's just not gonna start on this and not see it through. So this may keep our officers here longer, as opposed to having them come in and then potentially lateral out. So, and I think it's also, do other agencies, are they starting to reflect the same things?
So I found one agency that specifically said master's programs. Everywhere that I've looked, a lot of them have tuition reimbursement, but they don't specify whether it's associates, bachelor's, and master's. But with the master's program, it's an extra 2 years on top of the bachelor's. Most police officers that are coming in don't have any college experience whatsoever. So if they went all the way to the master's, that's 6 years in Watsika. That's almost half of a career right there.
Half of a career?
So,
And that's the $15,000 figure you threw out of Governor State will encompass the entire time.
that would encompass the master's program
But
itself.
that's, yeah.
Yes.
So, in other words, we're not looking at 15,000 a year for 6 years.
No.
We're talking about dividing that up over 6 years.
For the 2 years
For the 2
for
years.
specifically the master's program, yes.
Altogether. Correct. Okay.
They've gotta get
When's
that.
the next class to start?
So that's what I had put out there. October 18th is the deadline for the spring. So obviously, if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. But if it does happen, then October 18th, if I want to get enrolled for the spring, it would have to be before then.
Do we
And
need
I had brought it up before.
do we need a motion to push this forward? If so, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to get it to, CanCar for legal, don't we?
Mm-hmm. You'll have to do an addendum to the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can still
we can
make the motion now at committee and kick it forward to what
Sure.
will be full at the end of the month, and by then,
Yeah.
legal will have the proper definitions drawn up,
I do have one other question.
Yeah.
Just-
hopefully.
Just out of curiosity, have any of the other officers on board already, said, hey, I'm really interested if this goes to fruition, getting in there and taking additional classes?
So I know since I've been here, and obviously I've only been here 2 years, but even my experience living in Watsika the past 30 years, I only know of 3 officers that have taken advantage of the education reimbursement whatsoever. 2 of them are currently enrolled right now because they're interested in
Taking my spot.
taking the spot. And you have to have a certain education for that. So
I see.
So yeah, I mean, Scott took advantage of it to get his. Did you get your bachelor's or associates?
Bachelor's.
He's got his bachelor's. Sergeant Harris is working towards his bachelor's, and I believe that Jason is finishing up his associate's degree right now. So
But this will give them the same opportunity.
this would give
to
them the
move forward.
incentive to continue moving
Absolutely.
forward. So yes,
Officer Stewart did also when he was
Officer
here.
Stewart did too. Yeah. So
I want to make it clear I don't want his job. Not interested at all.
so
You say that now.
yeah, he says
no,
that
I-
now.
I'm
So.
sticking to it.
And it's one of those things that I think, and NIDA can contest this, when NIDA and I were working on creating the application process, they talk about minimum requirements, high school diploma, GEDs. As Josh kind of referred to, we did have at one point minimum requirements like an associate's degree or bachelor's degree, and that was, I think, our lowest turnout of applicants we ever got. I don't want to sound negative towards people that spend the money on education, but sometimes I think people that have real world experience, that kind of works a lot better than people that go to school that jumps from high school to college and come out. Again, I can talk about, like, when I went to academy, there was 52 or 56 people in my graduating class at PTI, and I think within 6 months it was less than half those officers were still officers, because there was a large majority of them that were college kids that literally couldn't understand being in the real world and seeing what they were seeing and dealing with what they were dealing with. So here you got officers that are already in it that want to continue to get better for themselves and their community. And I think if that's what they're asking for, I think it's HUA that we try to provide that training and that education, that opportunity to them. So
Absolutely.
it's not like we're telling people right from the get-go, like, come here and we're going to give you a master's degree. You know, like you said, before they get to the point of getting to what we're talking about tonight, or he's talking about tonight, you already had to invest years of time and work and effort into it before you get there. So
Understood. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Hopefully, Josh, Benny said we'll get it to, Michael, right?
Joe?
No, Mike.
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 Oh,
he's
Mike.
early.
Means it's outside the contract, but
He's late.
that shouldn't be
Sorry.
no
It's
issue.
okay.
Okay.
And, hopefully, he can have that back to us by full council yet this month, so that you'll have time to do what you need to do.
Thank you.
And just my own standpoint here, anytime that we, and I know everybody's gonna agree, I hope, can update your training, equipment, we're gonna support that. Not just for police, but fire, building inspection, code enforcement. We wanna keep our small town police, fire, code, building, the best there is for a small town. That's my goal.
And Denny, if I can jump on that, something that I noticed or I saw that was going across, unfortunately, because of what recently happened that I spoke of earlier, there was, on social media, there was a wife of a county deputy that was collecting donations for the deputies for their critical trauma kits. You guys, if you recall, we brought that to you guys 2 years ago, roughly, because as you just said, we want to give our officers and all of our employees the best equipment for those worst case scenarios that they do. So we were already ahead of that. We did that 2 years ago. So again, I want to thank you guys for keeping the police department as far ahead of the ball as what you guys have, because instead of waiting for something to happen and then doing something, you guys have been very supportive of keeping us ahead just in case if something does. Just like with the riot gear back when we purchased that 3-4 years ago, with the critical duty trauma bags that we got. I mean, that's what we need, because I don't want to end up looking back at it and $2,000 worth of equipment could have costed somebody their lives hypothetically. So,
Just think, if you didn't have those shields, you would have been completely obliterated in the water fight.
no, I seriously, I had a bruise on my head, so
I had a
think
busted
got
lip, too.
amnesia
Yeah,
from
it
halfway
hurt.
through there, but
Thank you.
All right,
it was
thanks,
bad.
Josh.
So.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Okay, now we'll go to the fire.
Wait a minute, we had a
You-
motion and a second. Do we need to follow through with the
Are we
roll
going
call?
through it? Okay.
Delar,
We're just all out of sorts. Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Beargree,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye,
Roll call carried.
Okay.
now it's
Not
official.
introduced.
Now I can go. I'm Nida Dubel with Police Commission, since I haven't been here for 3 or 4 months and you forgot who I was. Just different things I want to talk about. The Police Commission met last week. I've given you guys some paperwork on it. And with the somewhat retirement announcement by the chief and possibly by the deputy chief, we're going to need to do some restructuring of the police department. We don't have any lieutenants at this time and no captains. We have 3 sergeants. And as this progresses and changes taking place and a new chief is hired, it's important to have a base to be able to work off of and to be able to help your new chief. So we're asking for, be able to do testing for 1 lieutenant. We have 3 that could qualify for it, and doing it for 1 sergeant. And that sergeant, whoever gets lieutenant, we're replacing that sergeant position. So we're asking for that. We have 3 people available for lieutenant and 4 for sergeant. So this list that I gave you, I'm asking for the chief to be able to post this, and they could sign up. We can order the testing. I have given you testing dates that we have already set up to be able to plan to get this all put together. So what do I need to be able to do that?
Well, if we need a motion, I'll go ahead and make the motion that you proceed forward with it.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll.
Beargree,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Delar.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
And in the last week, I've been working with that new company apply to serve, to be able to do the applications out for new police officers. We do have 2 people on our list that were unsure at this time if they would take the position. With Josh possibly retiring, they would replace Josh. And so we need to get out a new list. And so I showed the dates on here. It went online the October 9th. If you go to apply to serve, you'll see it on there. And then she also put it on Blue Line, and it's been on Facebook.
Blue Line in about a week.
In a week? Okay. It's there.
Is it there? Because she called them and told them that they bill 30 days out, so we were kind of in between, so we were gonna wait for another week. That way we got the full 30 days to get, but she already got it up there, that's fine.
I thought I saw it yesterday, day before yesterday.
It's up online.
Yesterday.
But it's not on Blue Line, I don't think.
Okay. Anyway, we're working on it. So anybody that's got Facebook, if you can share that, you know, so maybe we can get some local people to also apply, we greatly appreciate that. It's on Watsika Police's site, and it's also on the city site. They also shared it. And I see 25 other people shared it also. So it's definitely out there. So this is our timeline on what we are planning to do. The chief sent me an email today with new dates, and I think the first class is January. Yeah, it was January. So we're hoping to have this done, as you can tell, by November, the end of November. So hopefully we'll be able to act if our present 2 people don't want to be on it, that's what we want to do. I was also approached by the mayor, and he told me he couldn't be here tonight. The police commission can't have anything to do with the hiring of a new chief. That has to be done by somebody else. By state statute, we cannot do that. The mayor has asked me to form a committee, to be able to put a committee together to take in the applications and be able to go through the process and then present applicants to you guys. I'm in the middle here. We were gonna talk about it tonight. He can't be here. So my understanding is we're gonna talk about it Thursday night. So I'm just giving you a heads up that it is in the process. We do need to move on it for whatever black and white date is coming. And then we'll go from there. Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nida. Any other comments, anything? Want to add? Anything at all? All right. I move to adjourn then.
We have no executive session then?
No, I forgot that. I already crossed that off. There is no executive session.
Okay.
So no worries of that. And I made the motion to adjourn, and we're adjourned.
So moved.
Aye. Okay, the third thing tonight. Code enforcement. Like to call that meeting to order. Roll call, Kathy.
Bergery.
Here.
Mensch.
Here.
Cahill.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Delar.
Here.
Marcier.
Here.
Rolfs. Anderson.
Here.
Mayor. 7 present, 2 absent.
Okay, public comment.
What was the oil change guy here for?
Doesn't see we have anybody. So we'll move on to Eric
3
Brandt.
people that left.
They were with Ashley, that was Ashley's family.
Okay.
That was her dad and her mom.
Okay.
Thank you, Don. IDNR flood mitigation. I know we're still waiting on the reimbursement of $200 and approximately $38,000. It said the possibility for August was there. That's time has came and went. It's a problem down at the state. The funds weren't reappropriated from their fiscal year changeover. I understand that that's in the works, and hopefully by next month I'll have some better news on our reimbursement. I'm pretty sure it's going to be coming through. Additionally, the 345 West North, that's a flood mitigation property. You guys approved the demolition. Demolition contractor hasn't arrived. Their chief operator is getting married and has got the week off. So they were trying to shuffle some people around and possibly start tomorrow. I didn't see any equipment in town, so I anticipate that'll be probably next week. they're also doing 306 West Oak, and they asked me which one I wanted done first, and I requested that 306 West Oak get done first because it's in the worst condition. Ordinance citations, 2 warnings, 1 citation. I gave everybody a copy of my log, and actually that expanded into the last week. I went down the 100 block of West Oak, and there's a lot of stuff going on down there, so I wrote quite a few tickets just right down the block there, warnings. Solar farm, I put this back on the agenda. So the applicant, potential applicant, they're not gonna meet the 40-acre minimum that our ordinance requires. So their first step is gonna be to approach the city for a variance from the 40-acre minimum. They're at probably just over 30 acres, and before they do their full application, they're gonna ask for approval for the variance first, 40-acre minimum. Natural hazard flood mitigation, or natural hazard mitigation plan. So this was brought up last month about the city participating in the county plan, and I was in favor of that. I give everyone a copy of the email that came back from Andrea Bostwich from American Environmental. She explains it. Can we participate in both plans? Yes, we can participate in both plans. IEMA's response was, but why? It creates an extra layer of complications, I guess, because we would have the same mitigation actions in 2 plans. So from FEMA's standpoint, you know, when they're looking at our applications for grants or whatnot, you know, we've got 2 plans with the same mitigation actions in them. I feel that the city has a vested interest in their own plan simply because of the community rating system. Our meeting earlier tonight, that had to do with community rating system compliance. I have to present those minutes at our yearly recertification in January, February. We've already applied for a grant for our renewing the plan, the 5-year plan. And that's in the works, and it looks like we're on schedule, and that was a process that was probably started 2.5 years ago to get the grant applied for and be in the key to have it approved and in place in time for our 5-year renewal. So, you know, I think the recommendation is, you know, for the time, just unfortunately step back from the county plan and stick with the city plan. I did ask the question, if the city were to drop their plan in the future, at some time in the future, could they then at that point join the county plan? Absolutely, yes. So, any more questions on participating in the current county plan? So we have 2 facade assistance grant applications here. The first one is for Elizabeth McTaggart, 131 East Walnut. This is the building next to the old lamplighter building, and she's already started some work. So she pulled the sheet metal off the front to expose the brick. She wants to go back to what it looked like originally, or something similar. So, and she's requesting, I believe, the full $5,000 grants. This is, you know, that's exactly what this was designed for, is keeping the original look of the original downtown buildings, and it's a good application.
Yep, so moved.
Second.
Roll, yep.
Miller,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Baragry.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
So the second one is 216 East Walnut, and again, you know, this is next to the theater, and this is a good application. They've already done the work, a lot of tuck pointing. There was a lot of loose bricks underneath the windows. They pulled them off and relaid them. Same thing, kept the same facade, just maintenance of the brick. And again, they're asking for the full $5,000.
So moved on that.
Second.
Roll.
Cahill.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Marcier.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Baragry.
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Delar.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
So lastly, I put St. Peter's Body Shop on here. You guys had agreed to go for a demolition order on that building. It's been an eyesore out there for forever. It's been sold. Actually, after it was sold, the owners had me out there to look at it and see if they needed to do any additional work. So they repainted the entire building, they repaired the roofs, they repainted the doors, fixed any broken glass. Everything that I had listed on my violation list, they repaired, and even invited me on the inside to take a look on the inside and see what it looked on the inside. It was clean. No problem. So I'm just, there's really nothing more at this point for us to pursue on that, and I want to make you guys aware of what's going on out there. Pardon?
What's he gonna do with it?
The new owner, I have no idea.
Is he gonna get the truck moved?
He said he was. I'll remind him again.
Thank you.
It's not his property anymore.
I know that.
Yeah. That's all I have. Any questions?
Okay. Anything else, board? Benny?
Nope.
Nope.
Nothing? Okay. I move to adjourn.